So I wanted to make a little video here for new boat owners. As a new boat owner, in particular, I wanted to show how I get the boat out and how I get the sails up. The last video I made, I got a lot of pointers, and I know a lot of people who are also new and really just have no idea what to do with things, so I figured I'd make a video here for you guys. So this boat here is my Zhuchka. She is a 1982 Compac 16, and she has a Honda 2.3 horsepower motor on her. So what I tell people usually is the easiest thing about owning a sailboat is actually the sailing. Pretty much everything else, all the details are in some ways more stressful, more complicated. And one thing a lot of people worry about is getting out of the dock, but as you can see here, pretty much all I do is shove off and then be patient and let the wind and inertia kind of take me back, use the rudder to kind of get myself in position, and then once we're in position we can just go ahead and turn on the engine. And I have this little outboard so I can actually turn it as well to get like an extreme turn on here. So once we get going, we'll be heading out of the marina and onto, this is on Lake Travis, where I keep her. One good thing to have equipment-wise that I didn't think about when I first got a boat was gloves. These are actually just kayaking gloves, so nothing super heavy-duty. But the first few times that I was in any kind of wind, I did basically burn my hands, got a bunch of blisters. I've been fine with these gloves ever since then. So what I'm doing here is I'm just coming out of the marina and I'm trying to get us in irons, which is where you are facing directly into the wind, so that the wind isn't pressing on the sail, and that way you're able to raise it without having to fight it. And you can kind of tell when you're in irons, at least on this boat, because that little bit of sail on the top there with the flag, you can see that where it's just kind of rippling, it's not getting pushed to one particular side, although I kind of mess it up here, and it gets unraveled and pulls us, and starts pulling us into the wind. So easy fix, just get us back into irons here. And then once you're in irons again here, I'm just kind of letting the momentum of the boat hold us in place so that the rudder can stay straight. And then you come up here, and this is the main halyard that we're going to pull on, and that's of course going to pull up the main sheet, or the main sail. And I wasn't perfectly happy with this. You'll see me adjust this later on. So a note here on the sails, these are pretty old and saggy sails, but they can get tightened pretty well, trimmed up pretty well. You want to make sure that you let the main sheet go so there's not tension on the back there, so that when you're pulling the main halyard, you're actually pulling the sail itself tight. And a lot of people will also let the downhaul go loose there on the bottom and then pull that down, but there's not a lot of room on the downhaul line. So for me personally, I tie it beforehand, and then just use the halyard to pull the mainsail as much as you can. So once you've got the main up, you can go ahead and just kind of get sailing under the main. So here I'm just trimming off the main. Sometimes what I'll do is go ahead and tie that off. So see here I'm getting it, going back to the halyard to tighten that up a little bit. You can see there it got a little bit more tight, like 3 or 4 inches there. So then once you've got all that trimmed, you can just sail under the mainsail. So we'll go ahead and do that here. this particular day when I showed up, there was actually a big gust, 20 or so mile-an-hour gust. But then all of a sudden the wind just kind of disappeared. You can hear me commenting on that. So I'll go ahead and show you a shot of sail flow. So initially here I was thinking I was actually just going to stay under the main, and for the first part of this video I do just stay under the main. I suspected and eventually found it to be true that on the other side of the lake the wind was a lot stronger. That's normally the way that this lake goes. One side has a lot more wind than the other side. And so here you can see as we start to cross the lake get quite a bit more wind in that mainsail, and I end up not putting up the head sail for a little bit here. And of course you can just sail like this under only a main. And so as I said, when I had first driven down to the marina, there was a big gust. And the only other sailboat I saw was sailing under only main. So I thought initially that it was going to be quite a bit windier than it ended up being. But you can see now, once we got to the other side of the lake, the wind was a lot more hardy. You might note the topping lift kind of flailing around back there. I'm not really sure how that's supposed to be rigged up. I kind of was just following the way the previous owner had it, but I think that pulley may be better used on the mainsail itself, and then putting the topping lift through just the holes in the boom. I may try a few different things with that. The topping lift doesn't have any way of adjusting except for that that trucker's hitch that I have on it there. There's no way to adjust that from down here in the cockpit in any kind of meaningful way. You can really only do that at the dock, as far as I can tell on these. If anyone knows anything about that, I'd like any more information on that. People have also told me in the previous video these shrouds look loose, but I tightened them a little bit when I first got this boat. I had thought that they were a little bit loose also, but when it under sail, it does look like they are perfectly tight on the side, on the windward side. Maybe they need to be tightened a little bit more. I don't know if anyone wants to give me a little bit more advice on that. That would be totally appreciated. But you can see here, once the wind got in, it was pretty easy sailing, and I even, as you can see, we're doing some ancillary phone videos here. And just checking the tiltometer there. I never broke 10 degrees today, even when I got the head sail up later on. I could have reefed, I guess, but I decided to go this way. So now, as you can see, what eventually happened though was we lost the wind. It went down to like maybe 4 knots. So at that point I decided here to put up the headsail, and this had a few little complications, so if you're also new to this may be helpful for you to see. So the first issue was I had left that tied up because it had been so windy. I didn't want it to catch the wind, and so that was a little mistake on my end there. And then, so the boat had started to go to windward. Normally I'll tie off the tiller, but there was a bunch of boats out here, so I didn't want stuff in the way, and it would just go to windward and then stop in irons. So that was kind of what I wanted to be able to pull the jib up anyway. But here you see the last hank. I'm not sure what the heck is going on, but it got stuck. This happens to me every once in a while with this hank-on jib. I don't know if that's an issue with hank-on jibs, but mine, for some reason, the hanks I don't know if like they're like when they're sitting on there, if they're just on an angle or something. But you just kind of got to jiggle it, and then it's fine. So I'll go back here and finish pulling up the jib halyard, making sure we go kind of, because we keep going to windward there because of the weather. So I just pull that the rest of the way. The jib is usually a lot less difficult to get up than the main, just because you usually can do it on a reach of some kind as well. You don't need to be in irons to get it up the way that you really need to be with the main. You can be sailing with the main and pull up the jib. A lot of the time that's actually what I'll do. I'll get the main up, tie off the tiller, let the boat sail, and then just put up the jib. So here I do a little tack, just because we're so close to the shore. And then we get on our way again here. And pretty much for the rest of the day, that was pretty much it. I'll go ahead and leave the rest of this video. I think I do maybe one jibe and a few tacks. You can take a look and see how I do that if you are new to your boat. But yeah, otherwise, this was a pretty good day. As I said, I'll include some screenshots of the sail flow data so that you guys can take a look at. I was here from around 10 a.m. to like 12:30, and I don't think it ever exceeded. It never felt like it exceeded like 15 miles an hour. Sail flows in miles, so I'm kind of used to that. It does show that it did have a few gusts a little higher than that, but didn't really feel that bad today, actually. As I said earlier, I never went over 10 degrees heel here, so it was pretty easy. The only infuriating thing was the wind was very inconsistent. It would be really blowing on one end of the lake, zero on the other side, and then it would kind of die altogether, as you can see. So getting stuck here again. But yeah, otherwise a pretty fun day. If anyone has any more thoughts or advice on the Compac or what I could be doing better with her, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and let the rest of this video play for you guys.